Happy harvest, happy noon. This set is brought to you by People's Food Co-op, a natural foods cooperative serving the Kalamazoo community, offering local fair trade and organic foods and other healthy products. Membership is not required. Everyone is welcome. And this set is also brought to you by Gretsch Guitars, who have donated to this festival as well. Well recognized by Pete Seeger and Floyd Red Crow Westerman is one of the outstanding folk artist activists in the Great Lakes region. Victor McManemy's songs have been at the forefront of struggles and movements for justice and peace, human rights and equality, and safe, clean, sustainable environmental and energy practices and policies for decades. From demonstrations and marches to end the war in Southeast Asia, to supporting the struggles of indigenous peoples of Central America, from the longest walk in 1978 to survival Camp Hogan's at Big Mountain, from rallies and fundraisers for freedom for Leonard Peltier to the gatherings of international Indian treaty councils, from the decks of the Greenpeace ships, Great Lakes tours, the formative years of the Great Lakes School Ship Program, and from North American and Great Lakes bioregional congresses, from the gates and fences of nuclear power and weapons plants to the discharge pipes and stacks of major industrial polluters, from environmental conferences, forums, and workshops to local efforts to save and protect the earth. Victor has walked the walk and talked the talk and experienced and written and now will sing you the songs. Let's make him feel welcome. Victor McManemy.
Thank you. Thanks, Norm. Well, good to be here at Earthwork Farm. I was here a few years ago. Tim Joseph, me, Pat Nemastow, some other musicians put together a series of tributes to honor Pete Seeger after his passing. And we did a set here a couple years ago over on Main Stage, so it's been a little while since I've been back, but it's good to be here. I'm on monitor, okay. Is the guitar coming through? So I'm gonna do some songs. These are two new songs that are gonna be on a Great Lakes album that Pat Nemastow, Holy Wa Studio have in the can. Well, they're not in the can anymore. I guess they're in the cloud or something, but we've got those down, and I'm gonna do a couple off a third album. It's going to be called Free Air Waves, and I'm going to do a couple off an album that's available here called Land of the Free. I've got some here. You can get them over at the merch cabin there. So this is kind of a mashup of topics relevant to the Great Lakes, and it goes out from there. But my best friend Cheryl had a dream one time that Willie Nelson sang this song. So I never got it to him, but it's up his alley. So here we go. It's called Within the Means. So. Well, some Great Lakes rivers just ain't so grand. A lot of the Great Lakes shore, the White Pines, North Michigan, down to one last stand. You get down to the core. With the old apple orchards disappearing, peach, pear, plum, apricot, land, air, water around Great Lakes, many are fearing wood, streams, creatures getting forgot. They're destroying hills, valleys, and wetlands, deep drilling, pumping, fracking them into nobody's land. New York, LA to Houston, big energy grooving as the wildflowers ground into sand. Now it's wheeling and dealing, money, big toys appealing, devour acres of waterland skies. And the gross national products get grosser and grosser, more and more folks questioning why. Farmers, Indians are calling, the cities keep sprawling, no time for the future besides. Dallas, Denver, Detroit, the game's called exploit. Earth destroyers pay off on both sides. Suck oil, dig uranium, strip mine the coal, so the nuke plants and arms factories run. With both feet to the floor, some are nearing their goal. Destroying Mother's been so much fun. Now the people, they're asking, will the lands be all filled up? Will children have any to keep? They're surrounded by shopping malls, subdivision freeways, lulled into the consumer's sleep. So we're waking up to greenhouses, big gardens, feed bike trains move more and more pipe dream. Solar clean fires burning, wind chargers turning, living's easier within the means. So the Great Lakes rivers can again be grand, and so can the Great Lakes shore. As more and more people start taking it easy, less is left grabbing for more. As more folks start living like there's a tomorrow, less is left grabbing for more. There. Got the other one. Little, thanks, little waltz there. Everybody wants to dance. Well, there aren't any. That's the only waltz in this set. So, here's a song has an interesting history. Back in the late '70s, early '80s, some of you that were around and aware heard of the gill net controversy, the Indian gill net fishing controversy. Finally got decided in federal court. Judge Fox upheld the treaties that the original people had reserved unto themselves rights. They also had certain conditions on whether or not they were going to go along with that agreement. But a lot of animosity, anger, violence was directed at those Indian fishermen, and they took a lot of the blame for the denigration of the Great Lakes, the fisheries. And there were some that were caravanning and fishing out of their territories and taking more than their share, but it was a bigger issue as to how the Great Lakes fishery was diminishing. I had my elder Asuke teacher, Pine Showman, took me and a good friend I grew up with, Jim Olson, up to Charlevoix, Michigan, to visit an old elder. His name was Uncle Jim Wasagishik. And Uncle Jim had been a fisherman for a long time, knew where all the fishing grounds were. He directed even the European fishermen out to the fishing grounds. And Pine wanted us to visit this old man to get his perspective. And so that's the background of this story. So this, Norm mentioned that Pete Seeger had recognized me quite a while ago, back in the 80s and 90s when I was more active. But he always encouraged us to encourage the audience to sing along. So in Pete's spirit, will you sing along on a chorus if I give you the words? They're pretty easy, okay? Pete says if you do choruses and can use cliches, that makes it easier. So here's your chorus. You can repeat it after me. What goes in comes out. What goes up comes down. It's the price you gotta pay. What goes around comes around. It's just like night and day. You can't get something for nothing. It's always been and will stay that way. And folks blaming it all on the Indians. won't make the problems go away, okay? So that's the punchline there at the end. So it just repeats, and then the second verse is scapegoating on the Indians won't make the toxins go away. And the third one is, let's try sharing what we have in common and start living in a peaceful way. So there you go. So let's try it. It's an easy little 3-chord solo. I'll just sing it. We'll get into the chorus. It'll come up. Some of you have sung this before. So. We met a wise old Indian man, remembered years gone past, and talked about big fishing fleets, said the big fish couldn't last. He explained about pollution, simple, the eggs work no more. They destroy the natural spawning grounds, look at the rocks by the near shore. And he said those smelts don't belong in there, neither do the lamprey eel. Little ocean fish choking out the lakes, imagine how he feels. He said smoke that comes from those big stacks kills the trees and ruins the light. And the fish that feed off the nuke plant grow too fast, some don't look right. And then he said, remember, here's your part. Hey, what goes in comes out, what goes up comes down. The price you gotta pay goes around, always comes around. Just like night and day, can't get something for nothing. And we can't get something for nothing, always been and will stay that way. And folks blaming it all on the Indians won't make your problems go away. So there's your tune, okay? More of you join in the next time, okay? That'll be good. Said there's mercury in the muskellunge and cadmium in the carp. With Myrex in those trophy fish, boys, make sure your hooks are strong and sharp. 'Cause they're testing for polyaromatic hydrocarbons and organochlorines like 1,2,5,6 dibenzanthocene and polychlorinated styrene. I was given that list, by the way, by Bob Russell. That they were checking all those things at the old Naval Air Station, Coast Guard Station in Adverse City. So Bob gave me that list, and I somehow got a rhyme in there. So. And with toxaphene on arroyo, heard they found some in a trout. Dioxins in Saginaw Bay fish, it's natural, Dow says, no doubt. And with PCBs in their salmon, some point the Indians' way. But now I'm curious to see just who gets blamed for radiation in their bays. So in goes out, what goes in comes out, what goes up comes down. The price you gotta pay goes around, always comes around. Just like night and day, can't get something for nothing. And we can't get something for nothing, always been and will stay that way. And folks scapegoating on the Indians will make the toxins go away. Then he talked about the treaties made to ensure friendship and peace. How his people agreed to share what was here if treachery and wars would cease. So now we're in the present that is linked to a distant past. Well, it's time to share for Earth you care, 'cause the future's coming fast. Well, this story had no ending. He had lots more things to say. Like this world's still gonna be here, even if you pollute yourselves away. Hey, but wouldn't it be nice if us old ones and the children could once more smile? 'Cause you started living here on Mother Earth like you wanna stay here for a while. Sing it. And what goes in comes out, what goes up comes down. The price you gotta pay. What goes around always comes around, just like night and day. and we can't get something for nothing. Always been and will stay that way. Try sharing what we have in common. Start living in a peaceful way. Try sharing what we have in common. Start living in a peaceful way. All right, good job. All right. Well, good. That was, I could hear you even up here. That's good. It's nice being in the barn. In the shade, eh? Well, we got a split audience here today. I see Great Lakes Protection Workshops on right now. I was going to tell Seth I'm going to have to go to that workshop. But we've been in Great Lakes Protection for a long time. Here's the opening song off an album of mine. It's called Land of the Free. When I first did the album, my teacher said, well, you should have my nephew do the drawing for the cover. It was an actual LP, right? This was back in the 80s when they still had LPs. So I had David Shananequit do the cover art, and the title was Land of the Free. And when I first showed it to Pine, he said, Land of the Free? And it kind of hit me like, well, what are you saying there, you know? And then as I thought about it, it was like, oh. So when I finally put it out in CD, I put that question mark there. So that's on there now. And I got some pushback. What do you mean, Land of the Free, question mark? I said, well, look at the original version. That's how Francis Scott Key punctuated it. So that quieted him down, okay? So it does end with a question. This is called Ain't It Plain? And if you want to help me on this, it's a real easy course. It's just ain't it plain, ain't it plain, ain't it plain? Okay, so. Okay, let's try it. It's a little different here. There's gales on the big lakes, deep snows on the shield, and tremors deep in bedrock, warning something's gonna yield. With the lifestyle past crazy, the news beyond insane, big ships floundering out of control, hope I don't need to explain. The big changes, they're going on. Ain't it plain? Politicians promise promises, all red, white, and blue. Big business stuffs their pockets, and the people know it's true. Multinationals quickly branching out, getting the whole world by the throat. The arms dealers raise the guns of fear, wish they'd all get off the boat. And big changes, they're going on. Go ahead, help me. Ain't it plain? 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 Then a giant tornado came down through the Midwest, for the deepest floods in memory, putting Deep South to a test. As the blizzards and deep freezes, they're cooling off the north. Droughts and fires drying up the west, ships rocking back and forth. And big changes, they're going on. Ain't it plain? TV hucksters weekly threatening Armageddon's just around the bend. So lots of folks, they've given up, they keep waiting for the end. Well, the end, it just comes and goes. Happened many times before. Heaven and hell, they're right here on earth. Depends on what you base the score. Help me out. And big changes, they're going on. Ain't it plain? 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 Now there's hurricanes in the island, quakes, volcanoes on the coast. Well, America's high and mighty, pompous punk, phony President boasts. Looking just like Humpty Dumpty, sitting way up on his wall. Hey, you know, the higher up we let him crawl, the farther down he's bound to fall. Big changes, they're going on. Ain't it plain? 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 So there. Had a little update, a lyric there in that one. I should say he is Humpty Trumpty. Got to have his great big wall, you know. Boy, oh boy. Well, here's a song a lot of you, well, most of you haven't heard. A couple of you might have heard it. I asked Norm if he had his flugelhorn or no. So there's a flugelhorn part in here or a trombone. So I don't know if I can do it or not, but I want to do this song because it's on time. I guess that's how I'll say it. So it moves right along pretty quickly. So see what we can do here. Ooh, a breeze. How you guys doing out there? You cool? Okay. I'm a little sticky up here. I warmed up, so get those dehumidifiers going. Let me try this. I'll see if I can do it. A lot of prescription going around. How do you tell the bad from good? Self-righteous words, don't do this, do that. Actions say you should and should. With so much confusion in the air, megahertz and kilowatts, as more and more distance daily grows between have-it-alls and the have-it-nots. Shrill has the record harvest taken in the corn, the grain, the beans. So many million metric tons of food have to go around, so it seems. Why do so many thousand humans daily die from starvation? And all the have-it-alls can do is fight about who's got the biggest steak and baddest gun. Shrill voices saying time again to arms, slick ones time to fear and hate, with no bigger hypocrites than some evangelist, punk president of the United States. While at Energy, Commerce, Interior, Mother Earth keep posting a price. Drill strip mine reserves, get rid of Indians, just call it national sacrifice. Past time to impeach who appoints them. The well, gee whiz, all shucks guy. A manipulated election anoints him. Knows to vote and ask you why. But if we don't act now and change our ways, follow orders, keep quiet and hide, they'll keep destroying what's left of Mother Earth, and in our name committing genocide. Yeah, the winner takes all, the losers get nothing, European American way. And when you got them down, put your boot in their face, take their lands and make them pay, pay, pay. Dump waste into the lakes and streams, poison the air, food, land. What exactly is this American dream? Who in the hell's this Uncle Sam? Says protect yourself with your trusty gun, and he'll control the tanks, the laser beam, nuclear bombs and plants, food chains, schools, fuse, news banks. Isn't it time to ignore the line, walk away from dead-end scheme, turn weapons for wars into tools for peaceful change, and wake up from a real bad dream? Yeah, it's way past time, kick the paradigm, get out of this nightmare scheme. Weapons for wars into tools for peaceful change. Wake up from a real bad dream. Wow, thanks for... Hey, oh, thanks. That's kind of my first public offering of that one, so hope it came through. Okay, how we doing? 15 minutes. 15 minutes. This bar is going to close. I'm going to do a couple more. I want to, in the spirit of Pete and Toshi. When we did those tributes, Pat Nemistow and Tim Joseph and I went to WNMC, and Eric interviewed us. And while we were doing the interview, Tim Joseph told a story that he'd talked to a retired professor from NMC that said they brought Pete Seeger to Traverse City in Northwestern Michigan College. And I went, what? I had never heard of that. Well, I was pretty young. It was the late 50s. And come to find out, at one of my favorite places on the Mother Earth, Circle Pines Center, there's, hey, I saw you guys. You can't hide me. We call it the Highlander Center North. There's pictures of Pete. He was there in the late 50s, he and Toshi. She was filming, she was a film producer. How many of you have seen The Power of Song on PBS? Really? Whoa. It was a fundraiser for PBS. It's the Pete Seeger's story that Toshi produced and filmed. But there's pictures around in Circle Pines of Pete. You know how he always sang like there was a banjo. I met some people, the Vanover Caravan. they were actually, I didn't get to meet him out at the Clearwater Festival this year, but he told me that when he was about this big, he was a camper at Circle Pines and saw Pete Seeger playing there and playing his banjo, and he wanted to do that. And now they travel worldwide. They sing in how many languages? Dozens of languages. They go all over the world taking music of peace. And he's a composer and everything. I said, wow. So I remember being a student at MC in the early 60s, and I saw a copy of the album by the Almanac Singers that Pete did in the early days of union organizing, and I wondered how they got there. Well, to make a long story not too long, Tim said that they had brought him up, but they couldn't advertise or anything. It was all quiet because at that time the McCarthy hearings were going on, the purge, and they had to get Pete in and out of town. So going down to Circle Pines, the first time I saw that picture of him singing with Big Bill Brunzi, it touched me very deeply. And we called him on his 90th birthday. No, we called him on the 80th? Okay, it's coming back. The 75th anniversary of Circle Pines, a huge gathering. We called Pete. Toshi had passed on, and the Vanivers called him, and he answered and said, "Oh, Circle Pines, how have you kept going for 75 years?" He said, "I wish I could be with you now, And we called him back later and sang Happy Birthday song, and we sang If I Had a Hammer, a bunch of us folk singers, and it was very touching. So right now I'm thinking about Circle Pines because a dear friend, a mother of two wonderful young men, husband Derek. I don't know the status of Iris. Are they still trying to deport Iris? Iris is the head cook and just the most wonderful person. Was able to escape El Salvador about 15 years ago. And apparently she missed a meeting, about 15, you could correct me, but she missed some meeting. And these fascists tracked her down and want to deport her back to El Salvador. So I want to sing a song right now, just Iris, and you can help me on this one. A lot of you know it. I learned this from Pete in Philadelphia at a People's Music Network when there were 400 of us, and the author, Lori Wyatt, Pete brought him up on stage and taught us this song. This was in the mid-'80s, after the horrible things that this government here had done to the people in Central America, especially the indigenous people. And so, quick change, I'm sorry. I got to go to the other guitar because otherwise you guys won't. So I can tell you, let me get the key here. Somos el barco, somos el mar, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. So it's, we are the boat, we are the sea, I sail in you, you sail in me. So that's your chorus, so can you help me, please? Let's send this. When Laurie came up and told us what this song was about, he dedicated it to the people of Central America as a way for the people from this country to say, we want to be together, we're tired of this war, we want human rights. I think most people in this country do. And I think singing this song, let's sing it out for Iris and all those people down in that horrible situation on the southern border right now. So. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Okay, good. We have voices. Okay, I had to stop there. Okay, yes. So I'll line it out. I'll line it out for you. Okay, so. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Somos el mar. Yo navego en ti. Yo navego en ti. Tú navegas en mí. Tú navegas en mí. So let's do the English and then it'll come. We are the boat, we are the sea. We are the sea, I sail in you. And I sail in you, you sail in me. You sail in me. And the stream sings it to the river, and the river sings it to the sea, and the sea sings it to the boat that carries you and me. English, we are the boat, we are the sea. We are the sea, I sail in you. And I sail in you, you sail in me, you sail in me. And the boat that we are sailing on was built by many a hand. And the seas that we are sailing on, it touches every land. Somos el barco, somos el barco, somos el mar, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí, tú navegas en mí. And the journey has been long and hard, and yet we're sailing still, with the songs to help us pull together, if we only will. Somos el barco, we are the boat. Somos el mar, we are the sea. Yo navego en ti, I sail in you. Tú navegas en mí. So with our hopes we raise the sails to face the winds once more. And with our hearts we chart these waters, never sailed before. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea, and I sail in you, you sail in me. We are the boat, we are the sea. So, you got time for a closer? Huh?
Yeah, you ever done the 6 minutes?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, good. Get to do another song. Sometimes I talk too much, people say, but I've had other people say it's really important sometimes to, I saw Brad up at the merchandise tent, and I need to get some CDs to him right after here. I've got some here too, and how many people still have CD players? Oh, all right. But I guess you can put them in your computer too and download them and all that, right? So, we had a gathering out at Neotuana Inn a while back, and Crosshatch up north helped put it together with Neotuana Research and Education Center that is now Title Track. Is that transition, right? So they handed off NREC to Title Track, and we had a gathering of elders, I guess is what I qualify now, and youth. So some wonderful young singers, songwriter, activists, poets were there. And we told our stories, those of us that have been involved in many endeavors, from saving the earth to trying to free Leonard Peltier to all these different things. So we told our stories, and then the younger people took notes, and then they convened for the weekend and put together music and poetry, and then we had a concert at the Kirkbride Center, and that ended up being just a really special thing. And out of that, I was able to kind of start over, because just being there amongst my peers, and we were reflecting our stories, a lot of healing went on amongst us older people, understanding each other's ways and why some went this way and some went that way. But having a younger generation there, active and doing everything that people are waking up, gave me a lot of encouragement. So. I'm going to take this down and do a closing song. Norm mentioned I was able to, he mentioned the longest walk. For those of you who don't know what that is and was, that was when the U.S. Congress were attempting to abrogate the treaties, in other words, erase the treaties. This was in the late 70s over the fishing rights in the Pacific Northwest. And the traditional people from this land said, wait a minute. And led by the American Indian movement, they commenced to have ceremonies on Alcatraz Island and walked all the way across North Turtle Island to Washington, District of Columbus, and they weren't able to break them up. They tried to break them up along the way, the FBI. They were afraid of the power of the American Indian movement, but it wasn't a political march, it was a spiritual walk, and it was led by sacred bundles. And they were able to get to D.C. It was a heat wave. There was a lot of the elders from Hopi and Navajo were having a hard time, because at that time they were putting up fences and dividing their lands, taking away their sheep, trying to destroy that Hopi culture. And but the longest walk was successful. The treaties weren't abrogated, and the resistance and the solidarity that came from that culminated a little while ago in Standing Rock. Initially, that was led by the water protectors, the grandmothers, and a lot of things happened there because, when you have big gatherings like that, it's open to all kinds of influences. But the spirit of that was there. So this song tries to explain what the longest walk was about. So I'll try to convey that to you. So it's called "Can You Feel Something Growing?" So. I got to go with it, right? Okay, we're going to go with it. Okay. Okay, here we go. Can you feel there's something growing? It's getting stronger all across the land. It seems more people now are willing, hey, to speak up from their hearts and take a stand. Lots of people are still holed up since the Great Repression's waiting patiently to see if the horror show is ever gonna fold up and get the hell out of the land of the free. Well, it's been going on for such a long time, how the powerful take advantage of the meek. We got taught that's why some folks left West Europe and refuge on a distant eastern shore did seek. They're taken in by the ones who lived here. Well, they got fed, clothed, sheltered, and welcomed in. Some learned to live in harmony with nature. Now it's a wonder host patience hasn't worn or thin. They're saying prayers for the country, the hills and valleys, ridges, plateaus, canyon lands, for the prairies, mountains, wetlands, swamps, and forests, for the farm and soils, for the rocks and the desert sand. If you seek the truth, then it'll show up. And they say justice has nothing to hide. Sometimes it's hard to see the pictures for the blow-up when it's mostly hung up on one or the other side. Trying to tell us we're running out of power. Hey, but the people know better than that. The sun and earth will be around for a long time. And some folks just need reminding where they're at. They're saying prayers for the winged ones, the fishes and animals, our four-legged friends. Saying prayers for all Earth Mother's creatures, and for ourselves, we better try and make amends. And you can see it in the eyes of the people. Now it's been hard now riding out the big storms. But the winds of change, they're blowing stronger now. And it's from hard times that the good ones form. Maybe if enough human beings, they work for justice, human rights, equality, the greed and hate, fear and war should close up, and peace could return to the land of the free. They're saying prayers for the old ones, and for our best hope, the precious children, and for ourselves whose time's in between them. Hey, let's keep working to get together once again. Can you feel there's something growing? It's getting stronger all across the land. Da, da, da. Here you go. Thank you. McWitch. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Victor McManemy. Yes, yes. He's going to get some CDs over in the merch booth. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've got some here too.
Oh, and there's some with him right now. And if you want to talk to him about Circle Pines or the Buttermilk Jamboree, which starts off the music season, you can talk to Victor about that. So glad you all could be here. There's still need for some volunteers. You can even get paid for being a volunteer. Go over to the volunteer booth over there, a little tent, and sign up. And it's a great thing to do. You're all welcome and encouraged to pick up trash around. If you see anything on the ground, a bottle that needs to be recycled, a can that needs to be recycled, please help out. Look out for bees. There's bees around. They live here all year round. We just come and go. But watch out for the bees. And if you want some of the honey made from those bees, there's a booth right up by the hill stage where they sell honey that was made right on this farm. And raffle tickets. There's all sorts of amazing prizes. And you're all encouraged to buy raffle tickets to help support Earthwork Harvest Gathering. Thanks for coming. Talk to you later.